Nurburgring is the ultimate proving ground.
It's the world stage. It's the most intense track. There's nothing like it.
We're definitely looking to break some records. 3 Corvettes, 3 different drivers, driving for fast laps.
It's been 14 years since we've set a fast lap there. It's time to go back.
See what happens.
November 2024, the C8 Z06 went to the Nurburgring and posted a really impressive track time. Okay, not really. It wasn't the worst time ever, but it wasn't great either. It lapped the ring in 7 minutes 10 seconds. A very lackluster time considering all of the hype around the Z06. But GM was working on its next great monster, a real American super/hypercar. Actually a duo of engineering marvel designed to dominate all tracks, but especially the ring. And they did. They absolutely crushed it. Welcome back, GI Car Guy fam. My name is Jason. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to support a veteran, even in just the smallest way possible, hit the subscribe button for me. I would really, really appreciate it. It only takes a second and it doesn't cost you anything. Look, you all are amazing. Now let's talk about what the ZR1 and ZR1X did at the Nurburgring. Let's go back for just a minute and set the table on what the Z06, the ZR1, and the ZR1X are. If you haven't watched this mini documentary that GM created about engineering and building these vehicles and the process of getting them to Germany, I highly recommend it. It's a very interesting watch, and I thought it was a really cool behind the scenes look at what manufacturers have to overcome when going for lap times on a track like the Nurburgring. And I'm just throwing this out there. If GM ever wants to give me the time of day, I'd love to come drive a ZR1. I'm just saying, I would not say no. So the Z06 is a 5.5 liter naturally aspirated V8 that makes 670 horses. It does 0 to 60 in roughly 2.6 seconds. And like I said, the first Nurburgring attempt with the Z06 was completed in 7 minutes 10 seconds to thunderous disapproval. A lot of people were really upset with this time, thought it could be a lot faster, and I don't know. Based on the time that this one gets, it might be right kind of where it should be. But GM had a monstrous bun in the oven, and about 9 months later, the ZR1 and ZR1X were brought into the world. Metaphorically speaking, of course. These two cars, as well as the Z06, were going back to Germany for fast laps around the ring. The ZR1 is an absolute monster of a car. It boasts a 5.5 liter twin turbocharged LT7 V8 that makes 1,064 horses with a top speed of 233 miles per hour. If that isn't unreal by itself, the ZR1X is the absolute giga chad of the trio. It sports the same twin turbocharged V8 in the ZR1, but also has an additional 186 horses from an electric motor strapped to the front axle. This all-wheel drive Corvette cranks out 1,250 horses, making it the most powerful one ever produced. Now, what makes these attempts at the Nürburgring fast lap times so impressive is that these cars are all driven by GM engineers. These are not professional drivers. So, whatever times they produce, honestly, they could probably shave off another second or two, just depending on the type of driver they get. I'm not saying that these drivers, these engineers are not trained and highly proficient in what they do, but a actual professional driver might be able to shave just a little bit more time off. So I'd be interested to see what that looked like. As it stands, the Z06 goes for about $120,000 and upwards of even more depending on the spec. The ZR1 starts at $174,000 for the coupe and $184,000 for the hardtop convertible. It can be tricked out even further with a 3LZ trim package, carbon fiber aero package, and a ZTK performance package, pushing it to well over $200,000. And now for the big boy. The ZR1X has a starting price of $208,000 for the coupe and $218,000 for the hardtop convertible. With similar available options and package upgrades, this roid monster can be spec'd out to just under $250,000. Obviously, when talking about the C8 and the recent laps around the Nurburgring, we have to mention the Ford Mustang, and specifically the Ford Mustang GT. Obviously, Ford and Chevy are sports car rivals. They have been for decades, and their latest iterations are no exception. The GTD is powered by a supercharged V8 that makes over 800 horses. It's designed as a street-legal version of the GT3 race car. It has active aero and advanced suspension and tons of carbon fiber. It also comes with a price tag starting at $327,000 for a Mustang. I know it's a very capable Mustang, but it's still a Mustang. That just blows my mind for some reason. In May of 2025, the GTD posted an official lap time of 6 minutes and 52 seconds, making it, at the time, the 4th fastest production car around the ring. Then Chevy said, "Hold my beer." On July 31st, the trio of C8s would get their chance at lap times around the ring. The Z06 wouldn't turn any heads on its second spin around the Nurburgring. In fact, it finished in 7 minutes 11 seconds. This is actually a second slower than the first trip, though, like I said, it was driven by a GM engineer and not a professional driver. What the ZR1 did, however, was very impressive. It put down an official time of 6 minutes and 50 seconds. That time put it at 7th overall fastest lap time around the ring. The ZR1X clocked an official time of 6 minutes and 49 seconds. It now holds the record for the 4th fastest car around the Nürburgring, with only the Mercedes-AMG GT Black Series, the Porsche 911 GT2 RS, and the Mercedes-AMG 1 at number 1, with a brain-melting 6 minutes and 29 second lap time. A time that, honestly, it's going to take a lot to ever overcome that. The GTD sits at 9th overall now, which is still an amazing feat, and even though it costs over $320,000, an argument can be made the Mustang GT is a better looking, more all-around supercar, though that argument would be wrong. Sorry, Mustang, meet right. The C8 Corvette is an impressive vehicle on its own, but it gets even more so as you go up through its different offerings. I think the C8 is beautiful, and even though it's not a Ferrari and doesn't have the ultra refinement of a Porsche, it's still an amazing machine. I mean, just look how it carved up this track. Oh, and by the way, it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars less than its competitors. Not bad for the fastest American car to ever lap the Nürburgring. Thank you so much for being here. If you liked this video in any way whatsoever, please hit the subscribe button for me before you go. I really, really appreciate it. So are you impressed with the C8, ZR1, and ZR1X? Let me know in the comments. I'd be curious to hear what you guys have to say about it. But that's all I got for now. Look, stay safe out there, take care of each other, and enjoy the ride. Peace.
Anybody even listen to this kind of shit anymore?
What do you mean?
This isn't real music. Hip-hop is dead. Nobody knows how to make real music.